Carney, your commentators. Back here in studio, we have our panel who watched with fascination that second half. One question, gentlemen. How did Dublin lose that?
Innocence, naivety, stupidity, a defensive system that failed at the end, that they didn't have the legs. And their game plan all the year, Michael, was like Tyrone-style intensity in the tackle. The thing about the tackling is their tackling is very much on the edge and beyond. Against a strict referee, it was always going to prove costly, and it did today. They conceded 1 goal and 7 points in frees to a Cork team who were stumbling and stuttering. And at the end of the day, experience and a better subs bench saw Cork through.
But you told me at half-time that Cork were so lost in this game they couldn't even devise a sat-nav system.
They were, Michael, but they were up against a team who had one system, a bit like Waterford last week. They were up against a team whose main plan to success was based on getting a defensive system right, getting bodies back, tackling hard, and depending on one man who nearly carried them over the line to provide the bulk of the scores. Look, the rest of the forwards, there was 8 forwards were played today, and they got 3 points from play between them. They were dependent on... Listen, Joe, they were dependent on a defensive system too much, and secondly, they were totally dependent on one man to carry them through. Well, that was Bernard Brogan.
The big thing was that Dublin were 2 points in front with 3 or 4 minutes to go. Known as the absolute sheer indiscipline in their tackling, which cost them the game. And, you know, Ross McConnell too, by giving away a penalty and a couple of those frees, I don't know what he was thinking of. But this thing of Dublin players lunging in, and, you know, they were absolutely silly frees, and it cost them the game, because really at times in that second half Cork did appear lost. But we should give credit to Cork. They kept fighting, they kept coming forward, but certainly when Dublin look at this match they'll say to themselves, you know, we should have won it.
We must give credit to Cork here. I mean, we're talking about how Dublin lost this, and I suppose that's a fair point itself. They were 5 points up midway through the second half. Couldn't see a way back for Cork. Cork, in fairness, as the two boys have said, Joe, they stayed calm. That's all you can do maybe if things aren't going your way.
I mean, I think, well, that is right, but well, to some extent, but I think that they'll be as bewildered as anybody else how they manage to actually. I mean, like Pat was talking about strict referee, and any referee would have given those frees. I mean, Ross McConnell with 3 members saying just pull their man. Pull down his man. They gave away a goal and 3 points in the last 5 minutes or the last 10 minutes of the game.
Okay, let's get the thoughts, gentlemen, of the Cork manager. Of course, is Conor Coonahan. He's a happy man this evening. He's with Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Conor Coonahan, congratulations. That was some second half performance. You must be delighted.
Yeah, look, I suppose any day you come up here at an All-Ireland semi-final, the purpose is to get over the line. Now, we'd obviously preferred that we didn't take it that tight, but look, full credit, we didn't look good there for a long time, but you know, a lot of battle, and despite what people say, there's a lot of battle in these guys.
Down 4 points at half-time, and certainly Bernard Brogan seemed to be causing you serious problems. Were you worried at half-time? What did you say to the lads?
Yeah, well, look, obviously we hadn't been playing well, but you know, at the same time we created a lot of chances. We were disappointed we didn't take a lot of those, but like we knew that we had the ability to create them, and you know, the important thing was not to panic, keep our heads. Chances would come, and it was a matter then of taking the opportunities when they came.
All commentators, journalists, indeed people involved in the game say about the squad of players being so important. You proved again that you had the likes of Colm O'Neill, Derek Kavanagh, Nicholas Murphy to come on. They certainly made a difference, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been said before, you know, obviously the 3 lads that came in today, but we equally have another 13 or 14 who are fierce, important people, because, you know, on days like today, the 15 and the 3 coming in get all the credit, but, you know, behind that there's a wonderful force of people who drive that on, and, you know, full credit to them all.
Dublin brought huge intensity to the table. I mean, you must have been concerned with all the different incidents that happened.
Yeah, look, I mean, in fairness to Pat, you know, he's revolutionised Dublin in a matter of months, you know, and there's fierce credit to him, because, you know, there's no doubt he's in the most pressurised job in the country, and, you know, if there's ever a manager of the year going out this year, then he's the manager to get it.
Well, that's very kind and generous of you, but for you, Conor Coonahan, you're back in the All-Ireland final. You must be already looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it, but look, we have a big job of work there, you know, whether it's Kildare or down, you know, we have a job of work to do, and, you know, this job isn't finished.
Well done today, Conor Coonahan.
Thanks very much.
Well done, thank you for joining us. Michael.
The job is not finished. Pat Spillane, after losing to Kerry last year, they're back in the final again. It's where they want to be.
It is indeed, and without playing, there's still a lot of sorting out to do. But can I say, you know, I have been a critic of them in the big matches in Croke Park at semi-final and final day, and again in the Munster final or in Munster semi-final this year, where I always felt that the Cork players when it came to those crucial few minutes to put away a game, lacked the belief, lacked the composure, lacked the experience, lacked the leadership. Well, I'll say this for Cork fellas today. They stood up, and in those last 10 or 15 minutes, when they needed leaders, when they needed composure, when they needed belief, when they needed experience, it shone through in bucketfuls.
It did. We're going to take another short break here on the programme. Back with more team, everybody.
Because they did recover from the penalty, which is a huge blow, and was self-inflicted again because Ross McConnell launched himself at, I think it was Colm O'Neill there, and gave away a silly penalty, and was lucky actually to stay on at that time. And of course he repeated the dose then on Noel O'Leary, who had no chance of scoring when he came up and gave away the lead point to a Donegal O'Connor free. And Donegal O'Connor, in fairness, you know, a fellow who's playing dreadfully from play and had missed frees, suddenly kicked a goal and 3 points, which helped win the game.
But you know, Michael, when you retreat back in defence, as Dublin do, you're inviting the opposition to come on to you. They did that against Tyrone. Tyrone kicked 17 wides and 7 balls into the goalie's hands. There will always come a day that if you invite opposition to come at you and you give them plenty of chances of shooting and running at them, that there's a chance you'll lose. And that's what happened. They played a dangerous game and they paid the price.
Pat Gilroy must be absolutely livid. He'll be enraged. They did everything right except the foul. He was in.
Did everything right except win the match.
I could strangle you. You'll be thinking about Ger Brennan and about Ross McConnell. I mean, all the work was done. The game was there. Cork were walking into the change room thinking, how in the name of God did that turn around? They didn't have to take scores from play. They didn't have to do any of the complex things that are usually required. All they did was kick a goal and 3 points from frees in the last 10 minutes. I mean,
but at the end of the day, Joe, teams are still matches are still won by teams who are more positive. And Cork, no matter with all their limitations, were still more positive than the Dubs. The Dubs were negative. They played a deep line half forward line, and they paid the price.
At the end of the day, it is Cork into the All-Ireland final, as we said. Plenty to look forward to next week in the second of this year's football semi-final.